Hello, welcome to OJ Studios. Please enjoy this week's chapter of Punishment 2, Return of Amanda, by Olivia Julius. It was after dinner before we could go to Gracie's house. I sucked in a deep breath as Mom drove me to the north side of Indianapolis where Gracie's family lives. I wish that Dad would have joined us too, but he claimed that he wanted to go ahead and start getting things into his car so we can leave bright and early in the morning. It was already night when we made our way around Interstate 465, and then on to U.S. Highway 31 before finally getting to her house. We pulled into a small trailer park. All the trailers were lined up around a big dirt parking lot. Mom drove around the park until she stopped at one on the back side of the lot. I sucked in a deep breath, and I tried to remind myself that this was just Gracie that we were visiting. But also, the thought that I was going to meet her parents again gave me reason to be scared. Last time I had seen them was when I was in my father's office. Gracie had just told my dad that I could go back to being a boy. They didn't say anything to me. They just left after Dad had given me back my boy's uniform. What was their thought of me? Do I need to worry about them still being mad at me? I got out of the car taking the pink suitcase that Mom told me to put the clothes that Gracie and I picked out in and followed Mom up the stairs that lead to the front door. Mom knocked on the door and Gracie's mom instantly answered it. "Nicole, it's so good to see you again," Gracie's mom said to my mom. She moved aside and both Mom and I walked inside the trailer together. We walked into the trailer and immediately Gracie came out of her room and took me by the hand, pulling me into her room. "I told you," she said, "I told you that your girlfriend wanted you to be a girl for her birthday party." I began to say that Brittany wasn't my girlfriend, but the suddenness of Gracie pulling me into her room made me unable to defend myself. Gracie shut the door to her room behind me and spread her arms out wide. I looked around at the room differences between my boy room, Gracie's overly girly room. The walls around her room were painted a light purple. The sheets on her bed were also purple, her desk, dresser, and nightstands were all painted white. Around her bedroom were posters of boy bands and kittens. Gracie went around in her room briefly, picking up a few items of clothing off her floor and putting them into the laundry basket. Her school uniform for tomorrow was hung up on a hook on the back of her door. Gracie herself wasn't wearing a uniform. This was the first time that I have ever seen her not wear her uniform. Instead, she was wearing a pair of blue jeans and a purple tank top. Her hair was down. For the past few months she had been wearing it up with a ribbon since her hair was starting to get long enough again to be able to wear it up again. "Well, what are you looking for?" Gracie asked. "You want to go girly girl, right? Just like last year?" Gracie asked to open one side of her closet to reveal her collections of dresses. "No, I only need jeans and tops," I replied. "Really?" Gracie said, kind of disappointed. "Well, what are you going to be doing at Brittany's party?" "We will be swimming," I responded. Gracie went over to her dresser and opened one of her dresser drawers up and pulled out a one-piece swimsuit with spaghetti straps. The suit itself is pink with a white floral pattern. Gracie handed it to me, and I looked at it for a moment. "Will it work?" she asked, looking at me for a reaction. I didn't say a word. Last time I was holding a girl's swimsuit was the bikini that Mom got me for when Brittany and I swam in Aunt George's Creek. It was also a girl's suit that I was wearing when I first met Brittany. "It's fine," I said as I put the suit into the suitcase. "Do you want me to just pack a variety of clothes for you? Just like I did last year?" Gracie asked. "Sure," I said, almost relieved that I didn't have to pick what girly clothes I would be wearing. Gracie then grabbed a couple pairs of short shorts. She then went over to her closet and grabbed a few tops of hers, all of which were different colors and different styles. She then went over to her jean drawer and grabbed a pair of jeans and Gracie tried to tell me which clothes would look cute with what, but all she was saying was a blur to me. She grabbed a couple of skirts and dresses. When I tried to protest saying that I don't need to wear a skirt on this trip, she just said that I needed to take it just in case if I wanted it. I tried to assure her that I wouldn't. It was surprising to both Gracie and I that both her and I had the same shoe size. She instantly handed me her pink tennis shoes and told me that I would look so cute in them. "Then why aren't you wearing them for?" I asked Gracie to look down at her shoes. She was wearing a black pair of tennis shoes that had pink stitching around the shoe. Right above it I could see that she was still wearing the white uniform socks that all girls must wear. "They're too pink for me," she said, "but they will look great on you." I sighed and took them from her. Gracie then added a few pairs of socks that had different colors and patterns on them to the pile in the suitcase. "So, I can't give you any of my underwear, that would be too weird," she said with a little bit of a giggle. I tried to think about whether I should tell her that I was already wearing a pair of panties, and that I have a whole drawer filled with them at home. But before I could tell myself no, I accidentally blurted out, "I'm already wearing a pair." I put my hand over my mouth and my eyes got wide as Gracie looked at me. She dropped the camisole that she had been folding up to put into the suitcase and stared at me open-mouthed. I instantly regretted what I said and wished I could take it back. "You're wearing panties?" she asked, "like right now?" "Yes," I said, "last year when I agreed to grow my hair out with you, Mom and Dad told me that I also had to wear panties until my hair was long enough to donate." I said it was too late for me to deny what I had just said. Might as well suck it up and just go with it. OMG! So what pair are you wearing? Are they cute? Can I see? Gracie asked rapidly. I sighed a little and grabbed the waistband of the panties and pulled them up a little. I forgot that I was still wearing the very girly blue Cinderella pair and the lace trim poked out. "Wow, those are adorable!" Gracie said before she put her hands down the side of her pants and pulled up the waistband of her panties. "Here, this way we are even." Gracie's pair that she was wearing right now has purple and blue stripes presumably going all the way down. "So, you were wearing girls' clothes this whole entire time and you didn't even tell me. Why?" "Because it's kind of weird," I started to say, but Gracie interrupted me. "It's kind of awesome!" she said excitedly. "I love it! Are all your underwear that girly?" "Not really," I said, a little bit embarrassed. "But some are." Gracie laughed a little as she continued to put more and more clothes into my suitcase. Once Gracie was done packing the clothes into my suitcase, she went to her closet and started to look for something. She had told me to sit on her bed and close my eyes, but I was cheating and kept them squinted so that if she turned around, I could quickly close them. Gracie apparently found what she was looking for because she got up and held something in her hands. "Are your eyes closed?" Gracie asked. "Yup," I said before closing them all the way. I could hear Gracie walking over to me. As she did, the questions started in my head. Why was she wanting that was so secretive that I had to close my eyes? Gracie put something in my arms and then after she giggled a little, I could hear her step back. "Okay, open your eyes," she said, standing in front of me. I opened my eyes and saw that there was a dress now lying in my hands. The top half of the dress that went just past the chest was denim. It was sleeveless and had a color on it just like the polos I wore for school. The skirt of the dress, however, was made like other dresses. The skirt was pink with a purple floral pattern. The whole dress gave me a cowgirl vibe. "What's with the dress?" I asked. "It's for you to wear, silly," Gracie said, smiling. "I'm not going to wear a dress right now," I retorted. "I'll wear a dress the weekend. I promise I'll send you pictures." "Nope, if you want to borrow my clothes, then you have to agree to my terms." She put her hands on her hips. "Besides, last year I didn't get to see you in anything cute in person. You saw me wear the girls' school uniform," I retorted. Gracie laughed a little. "You mean that?" she asked, pointing to her uniform that was hanging on the door. "Trust me, that's not cute at all." I had to admit she was right. Out of all the girly clothes I wore last year, The least cute of was the girl's school uniform. I got up and held up the dress in front of me. "Time to become Amanda again," Gracie said. "Are you ready?" I sighed as Gracie left the room, telling me to call her when I was done getting dressed. She closed the door behind her, and once alone I looked down at the dress. Last year, after I was told that I was released from the punishment, I swore off ever wearing any girly clothes again. Yet, here I was practically being forced to buy the girl that started all this a year ago, and another girl that is my best friend. I got undressed all the way down to my panties. I knew full well that I wasn't going to be able to leave this room without putting on the dress. I grabbed the dress and pulled it over my head. Part of me was hoping that it wouldn't be the right size and that I would have to give it back to Gracie. But to my dismay it fit perfectly. I buttoned the front buttons. The bottom of the dress was now around my legs. I could feel it around me as I swayed back and forth a little bit. The feeling was both familiar and foreign to me. After the punishment was over, I had missed that feeling. Boys' clothes were great and all, but they didn't have the same feeling as the open bottom clothes did. I began to yell out to Gracie I was ready when I happened to see the picture on Gracie's dresser. I slowly walked over to it and picked it up. It was Gracie and her sister Jessica. Last year I found out that Jessica had died of cancer. She is the reason Gracie decided to grow out her hair to make it a wig. An extension that is also why I am too. "Are you ready, Amanda?" Gracie asked through the door. I carefully put the picture of Gracie and Jessica back on the dresser and turned facing the door. "I'm ready," I yelled out. As soon as I said that, Gracie came back into the room. She looked me over and smiled. I felt a little self-conscious as I stood there in front of her. "So do I look ridiculous?" I asked. "Oh, you're not done getting dressed yet," Gracie said. "You see, last year when you went to your aunt's you had one flaw. You were not accessorizing enough like a girl." "What do you mean? I passed, didn't I?" Gracie took out her phone from her pocket. She quickly went to her camera app and took a photo of me. I tried to look to see what I looked like, but Gracie locked the screen before I could see it. "I'll show you the picture later," Gracie said, "but first I'm going to work on you." Gracie went to her desk and opened one of her desk drawers. She pulled something out of it and came back to me. "Hold out your hand." I did as I was told, and Gracie slipped 2 bracelets to my left wrist and then 2 other bracelets on the other hand. Gracie then walked back and grabbed a brown belt. She put it around me where the denim ends, and the skirt of the dress starts. I watched as she put it around me and fastened the belt tightly. She looked at me for another long moment and then grabbed a heart-shaped necklace from her desk. She walked around to the back of me and slipped the necklace around my neck and fastened it. I looked at it as it hung down around my neck. Gracie then went to a shoe shelf and found a pair of brown sandals. She dropped the sandals on the ground in front of me and implied that I should put them on. Silently I did, replacing my boy's shoes for the sandals that, other than the hair-shaped tread on the bottom, it looked like what a boy would wear. She looked me over and then motioned me to her desk as she pulled out her desk chair for me to sit down. I sat down, somehow amazingly remembering to hold the dress as I sat so I didn't show off my panties. Gracie grabbed a tube of pink nail polish and shook it up. I wanted to tell her I didn't want to have fingernail polish on me, but what was the use? So, I just sat there allowing her to put pink polish on my nails. "You know, last year when I very first told your parents that you should be Amanda, I was actually wanting them to bring you here so I could do this to you." I thought back to last year when I very first got punished. I had kicked and screamed so much that my mom and dad had fought to put the dress on me. I could only imagine what my punishment would be like if it also involved Gracie doing my nails. Gracie got done with one hand and switched to the other hand. I looked at my pink fingernails. The last time they were painted was last year during the Easter Princess. It seemed so weird to me last year that my nails were being painted, but this year it just seemed normal. "Done!" Gracie announced when she finished my last nail. She had me stand up. She guided me over to a mirror. Before I could see what I looked like, she had me turn around, so my back was away from it. "Okay, this is you before," she said, showing me the picture on the phone. She then turned me around so I could see myself in the mirror. "This is you after." The person in the mirror was not me, but instead there stood a girl in my place. This girl I hadn't seen since last year when I was forced to wear the girl's uniform at school for those few hours. "Hello Amanda!" I whispered, "Welcome back!